Since Draupadi Murmu was nominated as the presidential candidate of the NDA, opposition has lined up to attack her, from calling her a dummy president to a rubber stamp. Today, the Congress was accused of insulting her. This after Congress Neta Ajay Kumar said that Draupadi Murmu, even though herself a good person, represents an evil philosophy. The BJP took this as an insult to not just Draupadi Murmu, but also her tribal background. They demanded that the Congress apologize. The JMM also said that Adivasis are real and indigenous philosophy of India, and one should learn before commenting. The outrage prompted an eventual clarification from the Congress leader.
She represents a very evil philosophy of India. So we should not mistake Draupadi, we should not make Draupadi Murmu ji as a symbol of Adivasi.
अमित मालविया जी बीजेपी के आईटी सेल के इंचार्ज हैं और वो डॉक्टर वीडियो भेज रहे हैं। बीजेपी सरकार, केंद्र सरकार में ये बाकी के ऊपर, सभी के ऊपर हमला करते हैं कि ये डॉक्टर वीडियो केस करेंगे, जेल भेज देंगे। इन्हीं के आईटी हेड जो है उस वीडियो को, डॉक्टर 1 मिनट का वीडियो को 17 सेकंड बना करके पूरी तरह से जो है झूठ फैलाने की कोशिश की।
Now, the Congress is absolutely clear. They say that this is a spliced and diced video. There is an attempt, in fact, to try and save face. The political storm triggered by Ajay Kumar has given more ammunition to the BJP to hit out at the Congress in particular and the opposition in general.
It's very shameful and shocking for the Congress spokesperson to say our presidential candidate Draupadi Murmu's thinking is that of an evil person's thinking, and she reflects the evil thinking of this country. Only a person who doesn't understand the tribal and tribalism can say something like this. By saying this, he has not only insulted the tribals, but he has also insulted the very political party to which he belongs. But actually he's just reflecting on what the thinking of his political party is. For them, tribals are just a vote bank and they're looked down upon.
The Adivasi community is getting an opportunity to be the president of this country. They are once again undermining the entire community and insulting the Adivasi community. This mindset of the Congress party is condemnable, and the Congress party should tell us that do they agree with this kind of terminology that has been used by Ajay Kumar.
Adivasis are the real and indigenous philosophy of India. One should learn and study before commenting on them.
It was not mockery but manipulation by the BJP. That's what the Congress is saying. While they have distanced themselves from Ajay Kumar's comments, the opposition has used this opportunity to highlight BJP's dirty tricks.
Time and again, from various platforms, our senior leaders, including myself, had pointed out that we respect Draupadi Murmu ji as an individual. We respect the way she had grown in her life. We respect the tribal community, and when we were in the power, we had announced a special sub-plans for the ST upliftment. Why Modi government had stopped that? So they have to answer the concrete questions. Don't divert the questions.
Well, I can say that Amit Malviya or the BJP is at its best in manipulating things in their maneuvering, and you all know that what all Mr. Ajay Kumar said and how it is being in the sense that when we tweet something, when we refer something, the entire narrative has to be. Youth is looking towards politics, and if we enter into these unfair tactics just to defame somebody, that is not only giving a wrong lesson to the youth of this country and playing with the future of this country. Politics needs to be redefined.
All right, joining us now is Manasvi Thapar, law and political analyst, Rajiv Ranjan Prasad, spokesperson of the Congress in Jharkhand, Kailash Adhikari, MD of Governance Now. My first question is to you, Mr. Vadakkan, national spokesperson of the BJP, because the straight charge is, Ajay Kumar himself says, I started by saying Draupadi ji is a great person. It's the philosophy that is evil. Why are you making the Congress a hate figure?
What is this evil philosophy that he's talking about? I mean, let's really be very candid. When he talks about evil philosophy and he's constructing it with the presidential candidate, and one place he says she's a very good person, the evil philosophy. Now tell me something. these guys have just gone off their rockers. The presidential candidate accepted in almost all parties an agreement. Even the Congress party spokesman has spoken good about her. And here's this gentleman, tutored by High Command, I suppose, before Rahul Gandhi went out for his foreign trip. I'm asking you whether it was his brief that that came about.
Okay, let's ask Rajiv Ranjan Prasad. Rajiv Ranjan Prasad, what is this evil philosophy? And is this Mr. Gandhi's views?
देखिए, उन्होंने सिर्फ भारतीय जनता पार्टी और आरएसएस के पॉइजनस जो फिलॉसफी है उसको संदर्भ में लेते हुए कहा है, जिसमें देश में विभेद और विभाजनकारी नीतियों को फैला रखा है और निहित राजनीतिक स्वार्थ पूर्ति के लिए जिस प्रकार से समाज और देश को बांटने के लिए लगातार प्रयास हो रहे हैं, उस पर प्रहार करने का उन्होंने प्रयास किया है। और इसको डॉक्टर्ड वीडियो बना करके 60 सेकंड के वीडियो को सिर्फ 15 सेकंड के वीडियो को अपने हित में दिखाने का काम जो अमित मालवीय ने किया है, उसकी जितनी निंदा की जाए वो कम है।
बट टॉम मडक्कन कह रहे हैं कि आप जो पॉइजनस फिलॉसफी को जोड़ रहे हैं द्रौपदी मुर्मू से, उनका वो किसी फिलॉसफी से क्या लेना देना है? उनकी फिलॉसफी देश हित है और देश की सेवा है।
नहीं, उनकी फिलॉसफी नहीं है। ये जो विचारधारा की जो लड़ाई है, ये राष्ट्रपति पद को जिस प्रकार से सिंबलाइज किया जा रहा है आदिवासी से, तो जब आर.के. नारायणन को अपोज किया था भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने, तो क्या मैं बीजेपी को यह मान लूं कि वो एंटी एससी है? ये बिल्कुल गलत नैरेटिव है, गलत नैरेटिव है किसी पद को सिंबलाइज करना किसी समाज के साथ।
टॉम मडक्कन, you are foisting your politics on Miss Murmu.
We are not doing politics. We are empowering women. If these people have a problem that the fake Gandhis are the real and they are the entitled, then they have a mistaken concept. Here's this lady who's come from the grassroots, who has struggled all her life. She has nothing to do with the RSS. She's a presidential candidate. That's it. And she belongs to the ST community. And this philosophy, he says about BJP, RSS and all that. She has been a person, she's been a governor, and she's come through, she's been neutral in all her dealings. There's been no political leanings.
So Kailash Adhikari, do you really think that this is about targeting the presidential candidate or mere manipulation of what the Congress leader actually said?
Padmaja, according to me, this is sheer frustration, nothing else. I mean, here is a lady, a presidential candidate, a woman presidential candidate from the tribal Adivasi community, who has been an MLA, a minister, a governor of the state of Jharkhand. And here, the philosophy, I'm not understanding what is the philosophy of the Congress party behind calling her an evil philosophy. And Mr. Ajay Kumar of the Congress party, when he was given a second chance to explain his statement, he couldn't explain it further. He couldn't explain the philosophy. So this is nothing but sheer frustration, desperation. And you know one thing, Padmaja, important thing to be noted here, that even there is no consensus within the Congress party and they are allies for their own presidential candidate. Shiv Sena has gone on record supporting Draupadi Murmu ji.
So this is frustration, Manasvi Thapar, because the support is melting away. One day Uddhav Thackeray walks away. One day Mamata Banerjee almost seems like she's pulling out. This is frustration showing. And when you're frustrated, who do you attack?
Desperation.
Frustration and desperation. Manasvi Thapar.
Yeah, that is why Amit Malviya, from a 57-second video, he reduced it to 10 seconds and came out with a doctored video to just highlight what he wanted to highlight and create a divide in the media.
The video, even if it is 5 seconds, that even you are not denying, it says that she respects, she represents an evil ideology. That even you agree, right? It says an evil ideology.
You have to listen it in totality. In totality, if you listen, the first sentence which she said was that she's a great leader. And
but she represents an evil ideology.
Let me make my point. You did not disturb other panelists. Why are you interfering when I am trying to make a point?
Okay, make your point.
The point here is what is an evil ideology? This is that evil ideology. When you doctor a 57-second video to 10 seconds to suit your ideology, that is what is evil. Why don't you put out a 57-second video and then let the public of this country decide, then let the citizens of this country decide? You will not do that. You want to promote a propaganda. In that propaganda, if some word is mentioned which is convenient to you, you want to propagate that. And if you are so much concerned about your tribals, in Madhya Pradesh 2 days back, a tribal woman was burnt alive. Why were you silent then? 25% atrocities against tribals have increased in Madhya Pradesh. Why are you silent? That's your own state. Why don't you want to make some...
Tom Vadakkan, this is your evil ideology. You slice and dice. IT cell is your evil ideology that Draupadi Murmu represents.
This is laughable. Honestly, he's on off the rocker. He does not understand what he's speaking. There is an isolated event of an attack on a tribal. This can happen anywhere. The law and order machinery of each state is supposed to take care of it, and they will take care of it. Don't link it with the presidential candidate. And as to the word...
No one is linking, sir.
I know this gentleman. He is a doctor. He is an IPS officer. He does not mince words. When he says things, he means what he says, and there's no words put in his mouth. So, Manaswi, please, don't fool the public by saying it was doctored. What is this evil philosophy you're talking about and linking it to the presidential candidate?
When he says...
Explain it.
Explain it.
It's not what he basically said.
So
I know the gentleman.
So what does that
when
mean?
he says something, he means
so
it.
Was that also doctored? Wasn't she a great lady? She is a great lady. She's an inspiration for the entire country, the way she rose to rank.
She symbolizes the evil philosophy, Manasvi.
It's something which is
evil
hateful.
Philosophy. What
why
the
do you
hell
have
is
to
an
doctor
evil philosophy about?
Vadakkan Saab, why do you have to doctor
evil
Sir, you keep talking about doctored video. We played the full 50 seconds. Despite that, the evil ideology bit never leaves. What is this evil ideology, Rajiv Ranjan Prasad? I want to ask you, अगर आप explain कर पाएं, और सबसे मजे की बात यह है कि अगर द्रौपदी मुर्मू जी evil ideology को represent करती हैं क्योंकि वो भाजपा से जुड़े हैं, यशवंत सिन्हा जी cut his teeth in politics in that same evil ideology. पर वो एक्सेप्टेबल हैं, वो मंत्री रहे हैं, वो सबसे करीबी रहे हैं, उसी आइडियोलॉजी में वो बड़े हुए हैं, उनकी राजनीति उसमें रमी हुई है. आप कह रहे हैं कि भाई उनकी इवल आइडियोलॉजी है, बट यशवंत सिन्हा जी सबसे अच्छे हैं.
इस प्रकार से हंसी में उड़ाने वाली बात नहीं है. आज जिस देश को जो झेल रहा है, जिस प्रकार से धर्म और संप्रदाय के आधार पर,
आपसे सीधा सवाल पूछ रही हूँ, आप आइडियोलॉजी की बात कर रहे हैं ना. यशवंत जी भी उसी आइडियोलॉजी से आते हैं. यशवंत सिन्हा जी तो वही आइडियोलॉजी से शुरू हुए हैं.
लेकिन यशवंत सिन्हा जी
जनसंघ से आए, बीजेपी में रहे, मंत्री रहे, अब आए टीएमसी में.
बिल्कुल. तो आज वो जहां है उसको तो इंडिकेट कर
तो सेम इवल है. अब आइडियोलॉजी तो एकदम तटस्थ रहती है ना, या एक आदमी इस आइडियोलॉजी से एकदम प्योर आइडियोलॉजी में हो जाता है?
नहीं, तो ये तो उनको बताइए ना. जो लोग जो कांग्रेस मुक्त भारत करने वाले लोग हैं, वो कांग्रेसी युक्त भाजपा को आज किस प्रकार से जस्टिफाई करते हैं?
आप भी तो बीजेपी युक्त राष्ट्रपति कैंडिडेट लेकर के आए हैं.
70%
आपसे सिंपल सवाल ये पूछ रही हूँ, अगर तकलीफ आइडियोलॉजी से है राजीव जी, तो वही ईवल आइडियोलॉजी यशवंत सिन्हा जी की भी रही है फॉर अ मेजर पार्ट ऑफ हिज करियर.
नहीं, ये फ्रस्ट्रेशन और इस प्रकार की बातों को जो कहा जा रहा है, फ्रस्ट्रेटेड कौन है और किसको आदिवासियों से प्रेम है? जब भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोग सत्ता में आए हैं, उन्होंने आदिवासियों को जो संविधान प्रदत्त कानून है उससे छेड़छाड़ किया. झारखंड की अगर हम चर्चा करें, सीएनटी एसपीटी एक्ट में बदलाव लाने का काम किया गया. आज वनाधिकार कानून में छेड़छाड़ करके जो आदिवासियों को रक्षा.
सर, आप द्रौपदी मुर्मू के बारे में बता दीजिए ना. अभी फिर मैं आपको बताती हूँ कि छत्तीसगढ़ में कैसे आदिवासी धरने पर बैठे हुए थे एक सीआरपीएफ के कैंप को हटाने के लिए. अगर हम ये सब एग्जाम्पल्स कोट करना शुरू कर देंगे,
करके अगर सिर्फ एक पद को सिंबलाइज करके, तो उन्होंने विचारधारा के संदर्भ में कहा.
सर, विचारधारा की तो बात कर रही हूँ. यशवंत सिन्हा जी का 75% करियर उसी इवल आइडियोलॉजी, उसी इवल विचारधारा से आया है.
उसको डिनाई नहीं कर रहा हूँ मैं, लेकिन आज यशवंत सिन्हा जी कहाँ है?
अच्छा,
वो डिनाई नहीं कर रहे, अपोज कर रहे हैं. समझिए बात पद्मजा जी.
हाँ, बिल्कुल अपोज कर रहे हैं. इस प्रकार से
इवल फिलॉसफी की बात कर रहे हैं. यशवंत सिन्हा इवल फिलॉसफी नहीं है.
ओके, कैलाश अधिकारी वो इवल आइडियोलॉजी से अब अच्छी आइडियोलॉजी हो गए हैं यशवंत सिन्हा जी.
बिल्कुल हो गए हैं कि वो देश की बात कर रहे हैं.
That is very convenient. You know, it is very convenient.
मजाक मत उड़ाइए.
to say कि कोई इवल आइडियोलॉजी से सही आइडियोलॉजी पे हो गए हैं. लेकिन सबसे पहले कोई समझाने की कोशिश करे, जो अजय कुमार जी ने कहा, पहले उनसे ही पूछ लीजिए कि इविल आइडियोलॉजी से उनका तात्पर्य क्या था. व्हाट डिड ही मीन बाय इविल आइडियोलॉजी? We are talking about it, we don't know. He just said in the spur of the moment, and that is what I am referring to as desperation. It is such a shame, Padmaja, the Congress party, which has had a woman prime minister, which has given Pratibha Patil as a woman president of this country, and their spokesperson is talking about a woman candidate like this.
Evil ideology kya hai? Yashwant.
Okay. Let him answer. Ji, Rajiv Ranjan Prasad.
मैं वही कह रहा हूं कि आज जो आदिवासी प्रेम की बात की जा रही है, क्या जिस प्रकार से उन्होंने लगातार कानूनों में छेड़छाड़ करके, कानूनों में बदलाव ला करके आदिवासी समाज को बराबर चोट पहुंचाने का काम किया, तो फिर आदिवासी से सिंबलाइज करके आप क्या हासिल करना चाहते हैं?
देखिए, ये इनका
it's the ideology of hollow symbolism also that they were talking about, कि आप आदिवासी से प्रेम नहीं करते हैं, उसके सिर्फ टोकनिज्म से प्रेम करते हैं, and that is the evil ideology that Rajiv Ranjan is pointing out.
ओहो, तो evil ideology का मीनिंग और डिक्शनरी मीनिंग ये सज्जन चेंज करेंगे।
इस प्रकार से
ये बेसिकली क्लियर कट है उनका जो आपने वॉइस ओवर सुना है, ऑडियो सुना है, ध्यान से सुना है, वो इविल आइडियोलॉजी क्या कह रहे हैं आपके समझ के बाहर है। तो अगर आपको समझ नहीं आता तो आप चुप रहिए ना। आप क्यों
चुप रहिए? क्यों चुप रहा हूं मैं? आपका
और कहानियां सुना रहे हैं।
मैं यहाँ पर ना
देश भर लोग सुन रहे हैं आपको। ये कहानी शोभा नहीं देता आपके पार्टी को। गांधी, फेक गांधी जो है, महात्मा गांधी जी चाहते थे ट्राइबल बने, और वही महात्मा गांधी के
सरदार पटेल की बात करते हैं,
फुटस्टेप्स पर हम चले, तो आपको परेशानी क्यों? आप इसलिए परेशान है कि वो प्रेसिडेंशियल कैंडिडेट बन जाएगा और आपका शायद ना सुने पहले आप उनको अटैक करेंगे, तो ये आपका प्लॉट है। देखिए, ये सब हमने बहुत देखा है। प्रेसिडेंशियल कैंडिडेट जो है न्यूट्रल होता है, पॉलिटिकली न्यूट्रल होता है, और ये समझने की कोशिश करिए।
जनता को गुमराह करने का काम करते हैं।
अरे देश की जनता गुमराह नहीं है। आप
Manasvi Thapar, is this a belated sort of a response where running out of actual support, now you start discrediting the candidate herself? Because this is the fact that the Congress right now and the Congress propped candidate has very little people actually backing them.
That's okay. Congress may lose the presidential election. That is not about Congress's election or BJP's election. It is about how do you want to distort what has been said. That is the biggest problem. Murmu ji may become the next president of India. That's congratulations to all of us together. But the right idea is, why do you want to derail the topics? Why do you want to change the subject of this country? That is not how the country should be functioning. Why? What was the reason for you to doctor the video? Just come out in open and say that we will not do the full video. If you see the
Sir,
video,
again you are going on and on about full video. I just told you that we played out the full video. We will play it out for you again. But here, when you talk about the evil ideology, you are saying that she is a great person, but she represents an evil ideology. It is that very ideology which has chosen to project her for the highest office of the land. That also is the ideology. The ideology shows who your choice is. That represents your ideology as well, not just your politics. Anyhow, we'll leave it at that. Very few days left now, and the way the race is poised right now, it seems quite clear that Draupadi Murmu is not just the front runner, but she is in fact almost certain to become the next president of India and the first tribal lady to occupy India's highest office. More power. Thanks very much, all gentlemen, for joining us. More news coming in.